What's up, Banshees? We are recapping episode 3 from season 4 entitled Job. He's back, so stay tuned for our recap.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, AfterBuzzers! Welcome to our recap. I'm Oriana Leo. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Oriana Leo and on Instagram at Oriana Leo. Joining me tonight as my co-captain is the illustrious Isaac Johnson.
Oh, thank you so much. What does illustrious mean?
Use your imagination.
Okay, I have already. Thank you. You can follow me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson and Instagram, the Isaac Johnson. How you doing, girl?
You know what? I'm doing great, thank you.
Good to
This
hear that.
holy episode, how are you doing, and what are your takeaways?
Oh man,
Top of the line.
So many takeaways, top of the line. Love seeing Joe back. Love having him be sassy almost right off the bat.
Holla!
That was very cool. We'll get into the details, but I love the chase. The foot chase was really, really cool.
Me too.
And another deal with some feet was happening in this episode. And man, did that look painful. It made me squirm quite a bit. I was like, oh, that'll do it. How about you?
I loved the episode. I was like, oh, Banshee's back. You know, like Job is back. The team is back. Just felt a little more fun. You know, with Job back, we've got that levity that we really needed from first 2 episodes. We got a couple of jokes. Fat Oz back. I really loved the music from this episode. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did.
I really thought the music,
ending song was really nice.
Yeah, the whole thing. I just through the chase scene, everything. I really loved it. And I felt like this episode we really dug deeper into everyone's motivation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Things are starting to come together rather quickly.
Definitely. I mean, well, at this point, which is kind of weird to think that we have like 5 episodes to go before it's over. I'm not ready to let go yet.
Neither.
But that was one of the things that Adam and Jonathan said when they were in.
By the way, how fun was that?
That was so
That was
good.
so fun.
That was amazing.
Thanks, guys.
But one of the things they said was that they're diving deeper into character, and obviously we have all of these threads to finish these characters off, and we're definitely going there. I'm a big fan.
Okay, so we learn that Job is alive.
Oh, thank God.
And
did you think he was actually
I did
gone?
not think he was dead.
Okay, I didn't think so either, but
He's
they
too
certainly
good.
made it look that way. It was great to see his name come up in the opening credits. I was like, yes.
I know. That was great. It was really awful to watch because this is a character, again, like, I really care about this guy, even though he's fictional. Hoon, you're amazing. He wanted to call in, and it's all my fault. So we'll get him on the phone. But
yeah, that'd be cool.
His portrayal of this, I mean, I really, for a second, was really upset that this was happening. His corneas were being burned. Holy.
Yeah, I mean, we got that whole, by the way, photokeratitis or something.
Yeah, pretty much that's just like your cornea being melted off.
Yeah,
pretty
much.
No, it is.
More or less. But like what you're saying, it's hard to watch him because of those screams.
Yes.
He's fully committed to these.
I have goosebumps from you just saying that.
I mean, we had him screaming at the end of episode 2, and then we open it, and it's pretty much him screaming again, and I'm like,
blood curdling.
You feel like he's, I mean, obviously we know it's pretend. But it feels like it's actually
feels
happening
real,
to him.
I
That's got to be a testament to Hoon's performance.
Unbelievable. I love seeing the hair. It really changes him.
It certainly. I mean, I actually in that little thing where it shows there's like multiple Jobs there.
Yeah.
For a minute when I first watched it, I thought like, is there another guy? Oh no, it's just him, and it's kind of like again like that sort of emotional editing that we talked about from last season. But I almost barely recognized him for a moment, even though he was like kind of standing next to himself.
Right. It was a real trip. I love the cinematography, the lighting, the editing. Like it really enhances the emotions. I feel like Banshee's always been on 11.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you know, like Matt Servito was telling me at the premiere that this season is like every other season has been Banshee on cocaine, and this is Banshee on alcohol. Well, okay, I think that makes sense.
Still a good time, you know.
But this, I still feel like there's this high octane feel to this episode, especially with the chasing.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, as the episodes progress, we're probably going to build up to more of that. But I feel like it's really great to see that emotional state of him sort of feeling like he's all over the place within that cell there. I think hopefully that's the purpose of showing so many of him at the same time.
Right. Kind of losing your identity in that way, like breaking his identity. You know, he's no longer one. He's just a bunch of
And this is that what extended detainment exploitation, because basically they're treating him as an enemy of the state at this point,
which is unreal and honestly probably not that far off.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, to us, we love Job because he's an amazing character, and we've sort of grown with him. But I mean, from the outside world's perspective, I mean,
he breaks into computers and it's really bad.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I mean,
this doesn't seem that bad, you know.
Yeah, because he's sassy and that's fun.
He's awesome.
But the part that that got me the most was when they open the door and come into the cell and like no questions, they just start kicking him.
Face.
It's like they just like
for fun.
I was like, they didn't even ask him any questions. It reminded me of Star Wars when they torture Han Solo, and he's like, what they want? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
They just tortured me.
They're just sickos, and we kind of get a feeling from that. We let's talk about the chase scene starting in the university. Right?
Oh, with Leo.
So Leo is a just first class jerk, right? This guy is so yucky. He's smarmy. To quote Matt Lieberman, who is very busy and successful now, smarmy, like just yuck.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's got that like shit-eating grin.
But remember last season he was a fanboy, like obsessed.
Yeah, that's what I wrote in my notes. Was like, hey, it's Job's fan, and he's a professor.
And he's a professor who's probably molesting his students. And then
I don't know about that.
Well, they're of age probably.
Yeah.
But what I didn't get, the one thing I couldn't connect to is they bring him back to the Forge, which, by the way, hilarious of Job later to say.
Yeah, it's like his own personal hell.
Yeah, what did he say? He said, "Baby, you heartless."
Oh, baby, you heartless. Which I loved, by the way, getting that, because I love when he calls Hood baby. Like, that to me is like just hilarious.
Yes. So that we'll get to their little relationship later, but I love this chase scene of, Leo sees them. And Fat Oz the one, which, by the way, Eddie Cooper, great job. I would love to have you on. We would love to have you on. We don't have that many episodes to go.
Yeah,
but
I know. I've been calling him Fat Al, but I guess...
AU?
Yeah, like...
It's
Ow,
AU.
yeah.
Ow!
Ow, I don't know.
What a great character. Gets all the great lines.
Yeah,
Shout out to Liz, I believe it's Segal, or Segal, who wrote this episode.
Yes.
Toot toot to women in the writer's room.
Hell yeah.
That chase scene.
Yeah,
The music really got me into it.
Very intense. Also got to take my hat off to the stunt performers there jumping through traffic. Obviously, that was probably very well choreographed, but it looked like they were within an inch of each other's lives.
They probably kind of were. Life and Limb, the motorcycle coming in and splitting them in the
jumping
cars.
over the car. I was like, I mean, one, like you never see their faces, so like it's definitely the back of a stomach.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's no way they're letting Ant Starr do that by himself, because if he wrecks, then that's the end of the show.
And I met Ant's stunt double. I wish I remembered his name, but he was a very fun, loving guy.
Yeah, it seemed like he was having a lot of fun there.
But I loved the just moving through the subway.
Yes.
Have you ever been on a ride? In San Diego on Haunted Horror Trail or something, they have a haunted subway, and the whole thing moves, and then the people that are sitting there like suddenly jump out at you.
Oh wow, no, I haven't.
So I really felt like I could feel the anticipation, anxiety in there.
Yeah, I was just sort of like, especially when they're coming up out of the subway up into the street, and I'm just thinking like, man, that poor camera guy. Like he's doing an amazing job because he's keeping up with these guys as we're running up those stairs. It's like one continuous shot.
Okay, so we have to find out, Adam, was that a camera guy? Did we have a crane? Or perhaps a trolley? What do they call it? A trolley?
Something like that.
It's a camera on wheels with tracks, and they lay it down like a railroad track.
I think that's the I believe like the steady cam, because it is kind of jumping around a bit there, which is what it would feel like if you were running after them.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you at home that don't know what a steady cam is, it's like a papoose harness you wear.
It's heavy
with a very heavy camera attached to your chest, and the DP who's using it has to use their entire body weight. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's intense. And that guy ran along with it.
Yeah, and they usually have like 6-pack, 8-packs from that, So
maybe.
Who was that? No, okay.
Yeah.
So we have this amazing experience. Okay. We get him. They go to the Forge.
Yeah, they get to the Forge. Leo's not giving up anything. He pretends like he doesn't know Job.
I love how Fat Al just... They're like, do you always travel with a hacksaw or handsaw?
Part of the business.
Yeah, right.
Or part of the trade or something like that.
What were you saying about feet earlier?
Well, I love seeing Carrie basically just Carrie get her aggression out about looking for Job for 20 months, is what he said.
And she's been in her own cell.
Yes,
right?
in her own private cell.
Going nuts over this.
Yeah, going nuts over this. So finally she gets to the guy that took him. They saw him take him. We got that nice little flashback of him holding Job. It was nice to see her kind of just get her feelings out just for a moment, just to communicate with him, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, Fat Al's like, look, if he's unconscious, we can't talk to him. So you know what? Just leave me and Sugar in here in the room. We're going to have a conversation with him. And not moments later, Leo's had a change of heart. Just, I don't know why.
Change of heart. But so this is what... It smelled fishy from the beginning when he's like, if we want to save Job, we better act now. And I'm like, dude, you turned him in. You left, you know, and now you're going to save him. Why on earth would anyone believe you? But I understand that.
It's basically their last opportunity to get Job. So even if it does smell fishy or like some other foot odor, perhaps, from shaving off his foot. I couldn't tell exactly what they're doing. It was bloody foot, and he's got the knife. I'm like, you got to believe there's some sort of like microdermabrasion.
Filet-o foot.
Filet-o foot. Oh, there you go. Filet-o. There you go. Wow. Puns.
Yeah, I'm so funny.
Here we go.
It was fishy, and I didn't see it coming. That when Fat Al was like, "Bet you didn't think I saw this coming already," which was amazing.
Yeah, well, he's a smart character, and obviously
that
he deals in this sort of circumstance. He's like, "Do you think I'm dumb enough not to travel with my own?" I also, by the way, I like with the foot. By the way, I like the moment where he's like, you know, we have to get money, and Carrie's like, just cut his foot off. And his reaction to that was like, "Oh, please don't." I was it was such a perfect scene.
It absolutely was, and also seeing Job's reaction to the truth about the money. Oh, yeah. That they didn't get it back.
Yeah. He had some plans for the penthouse.
He had some plans for a penthouse.
Didn't even want the 18-year-old Glenn there.
Like, can you imagine spending all of that time fantasizing and like really escaping, dissociating? And we see that with them, like, drink up Job, and I was like, the man's been tortured, leave him alone.
Well, there was I mean, obviously seeing I mean, we'll talk about Hood later, but seeing him in Hood embrace there was really nice. He almost collapses into his arms. I've got you. It was
I love the
it was near romantic for me.
They have a bromance.
Yeah, definitely. But the thing that he said to him was, it's about time, which to me says that Job has been sitting there. And, you know, we said he didn't give up any information. They tortured the crap out of him.
Right.
He never gave anything up. And I think the reason is because he knew that they would come for him at some point. And so that's when he says it's about time. I think he always, and that's possibly what had to get him through this experience.
100%. Yeah. But I mean, they have so much history, this team. You know?
Yeah.
And we know that Job and Hood have history far, far beyond what we'll never find out. But I do think we should talk about, let's talk about, you know, Hood and the sort of rotating circle of characters around him.
Oh, like Al and Carrie and...
Yeah, well, I mean, we find out in this episode that Rebecca saved his life.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew that. I wasn't that quick on the draw last time, but I only saw the episode once, and I didn't really put it all together, that it was all a ruse. But now, seeing it, I love when he says, "Do you know what you're doing?" And he has this, like, look of terror in his eyes, and I was thinking the same thing. I thought, she's a nurse? I'm like, she's good at setting fires, but not... And her sassy ass, you know, "You're still breathing, aren't you?"
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess she had a point.
She did have a point.
He's not dead. Well, look, I haven't killed you yet. This is what she's saying.
But I feel like that gives us better motivation of not just did she save his ass with the house, but that she really saved his life.
Yeah.
But I would like to take a vote here. Fans, let us know.
Yes.
Is Rebecca a jerk? I asked this last time.
Is Rebecca a jerk?
She saved his life, but only because she got him shot.
I mean, I guess it's somewhat debatable if that's the only reason.
No, I just think she's a jerk.
I'm trying to remember what he did for previous seasons, but he's kind of...
He gave it to her good season 1.
Well, there's that. There's that thing. I mean, other than that, well, maybe...
He watched out. I think he just watched out for her.
He did kind of watch out for her, which is a kindness. She has saved him twice, though. That's a good thing to point out, is because not only did she save him from himself in this hotel room, and now that he's, you know, put his life on the line for her again, she's kind of has to repay him, like, at least attempting to save his life. And it also, to me, makes more sense as to why he's so hell-bent on finding out who did this to her.
Me too. It definitely fleshed out that storyline, that motivation a little bit more. I was really moved by Rebecca turning into a corpse in the photo.
I was going to say
oh
that.
My gosh.
That transition was seamless.
It was amazing. I literally was watching it and I went, wow.
Yes, I did as well. Yeah, hats off to like VFX there, because that transition was, and I didn't see it coming, to be honest. I mean, his vision is blurry. He's seeing her, and she's almost just, very sweet to him, and like it's gonna be okay, almost like he's like a little boy or something like that. And then as they start transitioning, I go, oh no, that's right.
Yes, that's right. And I was just thinking about the parallels, with Hood and Rebecca being really the only person that was there for him. Granted, the only person that knew he was there.
There is that,
But still, like his only real lifeline. And Bunker ended up having a similar experience. With Maggie. So I don't know if we want to dip our toe in that yet.
Our toe.
In that water.
Another pun here.
Yes. But, we kind of get the backstory there with, seeing Bunker in the hospital.
Yeah, in the burn unit there. I mean, that was what I was when Adam and Jonathan were here last week. It was like, I feel like we got to get more of that story, not only between the brothers, but I mean, that was one of the final images of of last season, seeing him about to be burned. And like now he's a cop in uniform, but we get to see those burns. We get to see him, which another great shot of him touching his chest and going back and forth to the burn unit in current day,
and touching this scar and then all the other scars.
All
these other tattoos and
all the other voluntary scars, and this one is an involuntary one.
And by the way, Tom Pelphrey with the tear. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
alert. Sorry.
He is a
great actor.
He is a very compelling actor.
Absolutely. And I really believe him. Like
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
His redemptive storyline. I mean, I don't think I realized that, but Jonathan and Adam last week said that he found religion and that's why he turned away from this life. I don't remember that specific story point, but it would make a lot of sense. What else would turn you from something like that?
Right. And we found out last week that he's the one that got Calvin into it.
Yeah.
Right. So we're adding that extra layer of guilt that he has. Maggie comes to visit, and one thing leads to another, but at the same time, he didn't have anyone else. Right.
Yeah.
She comes over with groceries. I love the shot of the flypaper. Did you notice that?
Yeah, that was like dude. I mean, I didn't think about what that meant. I just thought that was a great angle to see.
It was a great angle, and I wrote it down because I thought it really tells the story that like this dirty flypaper with dead flies is
even
hanging.
His mail is there. He's like, oh, I haven't had time to.
He's real. It just said everything. If I walked into a dude's house and he had dirty flypaper sticking up, I would be concerned. I would run away. But she brings him groceries, and he's
who else is
really
gonna take care of him at this point?
distrustful.
Oh yeah, he's on guard when she comes to the door, which he should be. He was attacked by these guys after going directly after them.
But it's also interesting because I would have thought with their chemistry that there was a past there. And it kind of looks like this is something that's new. Even if there might have been, I don't know, some feelings there before. It didn't seem like they had physical contact like that before.
Yeah, not necessarily, but it was nice to get her background into who her father was, which is a man exactly like Calvin, and seeing that she thought that that's the only kind of man that was out there. That's the kind of man that she had to be with, and obviously seeing Kurt turn or come back is what they call it. I think just maybe she grew some affinity towards it, that there's another kind of man out there.
Well,
and it seems like maybe she's had feelings for him. I don't know that he's considered it before, though.
Right. Well, it's his brother. But I can totally relate to this situation, right? I mean,
stealing your sibling's spouse.
No, I'm an only child. But we talked about it last time about loving people that aren't good for you, and sometimes you really don't know the difference because you haven't seen anything else.
Sure.
Right. So for her, she was raised. She said, with this toxic fear. Yeah. And really didn't know there was an alternative. And to see Bunker come out of the darkness into the light, if you will.
Yes.
I think it's opening up a whole world of possibilities for her, but to the point where she wants her husband killed.
I know. That's
kind of a lot to ask his brother. I can't kill my brother.
Yeah. Well, and that stays true with Kurt as a character. Is like, well, I can't kill him. I can turn him in. He wants justice. But he doesn't want that sort of revenge, which maybe I sort of speculated last week of why is he with his brother's wife? Is it some sort of revenge thing? And I don't think it's that. I think it's just in Florence Nightingale, you can kind of have that sort of thing in there, which is interesting. But just it turns into sleeping with each other. And then
they seem like they do it really well.
well, until they are have a little Calvin interruptus.
Yes, which I think we're seeing. Is that a new?
That's
a new thing?
I thought you were gonna pass right over that joke.
No, I love that.
I
actually.
spent 30 seconds writing that.
So next time you get a phone call during special adult time.
Yeah, well, if your brother's name is
Excuse
Calvin,
me.
it's Calvin interruptus.
I love
Coitus interruptus for you playing along at home, by the way.
Sorry, that was really good. You got me.
I thought you'd skip it, and I was like, oh,
No.
please don't. My golden joke.
I am awake.
Okay.
So we're talking, about Bunker. We don't get to see too much interaction, but we don't see any interaction between him and his brother. But we see his brother is fraying.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, Calvin's really losing it. So was that Wyatt?
I don't know.
Or do you think they're referring to Wyatt, the guy in jail?
In jail, Watts.
Watts, sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, Watts. No, that's him.
That's him. Okay. Because it sounds like, he's calling the shots. He just says that we take orders from Proctor. I can't tell you why, for your own protection.
Yeah. Maybe it's for his protection.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's some brotherhood in there as well.
I'm sure there's brotherhood in there, and that is when I need to make a note for predictions, because I got one or two.
Do you have one?
Okay.
Well, I also, as we're getting into this, but I like one because look, gosh, the actor that plays Calvin, his name is
Chris McCoy.
McCoy. Yeah, I mean, one, he's doing a terrific job.
Yes.
It's very hard to watch his character because he is so 100% into that lifestyle. So because of that, watching him worry on the phone when he's calling her.
Oh my gosh.
I loved it. It was to me it was great.
I love in The Office, that we talked about the emotional editing, like it almost feels like he's really mentally unstable.
Oh yeah,
in
definitely
the
mentally
way
unstable.
that the phones ring.
Yeah.
Like no phones really ring like that,
No.
but in his experience of this office, it's just insane. You're like, how is this guy? He's gonna lose it, that's for sure.
He's already lost it.
Well, okay, but he
may lose it more.
He's going to actually
whatever shreds he has left,
whatever
he will be
shreds he
losing.
has
But
left.
I'm gonna say that if you are a
But it makes me
white supremacist, you've lost your sense of reality.
I'm like,
perhaps.
what is it? What is his job? Like, he just makes TPS reports? Is that what he? Because it
Something
kind of
like that.
seems like it.
It's kind of like the perfect job for like a guy like that. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, he hates the man, but
So
he
he's
works
working for
the
him.
man. Interesting.
Absolutely. So Hood and Carrie, I want to touch on them. They have a smizing moment.
Smizing moment. Okay.
Do you know what smizing is?
I know what smizing is. How did I miss this moment?
So when they're back together, they're back at it, and there's a scene. I don't even know where they are. Fans, help us. But they're I want to say they're like leaning against a sink and they're looking at each other, and they're smizing at each other, and she said everything got all effed up.
Okay. Yeah.
And
yeah.
she
yeah.
says,
yeah,
it did. And they have like a moment. And I was like, ooh, kind of. I don't know. He's toxic cancer, but come on, just for old time's sake.
That would be a prediction to see if they're good, if that's going to happen by the end of the season. By the end of the season, I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I would think not, but I think they're always going to have. They're always going to care about each other.
They are loves, great loves. But it was really telling to see. I felt Carrie, when Job doesn't realize that Gordon didn't make it.
Oh yeah, that was a sad moment.
That moment of everyone's just like, ugh.
Which maybe the first moment all these characters are together and they realize that, oh yeah, one person's not here that went into this with us.
Yes, and just all the things that he's been holding on to for so long that are not true or real,
Yeah. But you have to wonder how much of reality he's going to be able to tap back into.
And also that Gordon, it really is just painting it out that like she has a huge gaping hole in her heart and her life. She hasn't even gone through his stuff, which by the way, not a good situation.
Yeah.
No. So, we're getting this feeling that like she is just angry, which she has every right to be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Vengeful. I mean, think about her father and, Hood, and then her own participation in him getting arrested and incarcerated. So, I mean, there's got to just be layers and layers of guilt and anger and mistrust there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I also just really enjoy them, just the writer specifically bringing Gordon back into the story. Like they were saying last week, they don't really leave any like just threads out there. And this is a way to maybe not necessarily tie him up, but definitely still address that this happened. We're not just going to pretend like it didn't happen and it's a new season
That's
now.
absolutely right. I think it's good to have that flashback and of like the horror of that.
And have these characters deal with it because it's a real person that died in their world.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well said.
Oh, thank you.
Good on you. So we didn't get too much Brock this episode, but that's okay. This is probably a transitional episode.
Yeah, well, not a ton of him. I mean, I like him being the person to visit Bunker while he's in the burn unit.
Yeah,
that
me
was
too.
a really nice moment. Because you remember they had that nice connecting moment last season.
Yeah.
Of him like almost sort of fathering him a little bit or something like that. And so it was nice that he's the person that comes to visit him in the burn unit. And then also, obviously, we got him coming in too. Well, we had him with the coroner.
So I wanted to ask you about that because I found that guy to be.
The coroner?
I did not like
kind
him.
of an oddball.
First of all,
Dan the coroner.
he drops.
Was that a brain? I don't know what that was.
I think it wanted to say a liver or something, maybe a
Yeah.
heart. No, the
5
heart.
second roll.
The killer took the heart.
Yeah.
He was so gross, and I was like, "This is a person of interest." Okay, the smarminess level when he's like,
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? He just
I think it's just
who
more.
better? I'm sorry, I'm leaving it for predictions. More predictions.
Sure. I think it's more the just like to have that kind of job, you have to have probably a sense of humor around dead bodies all day.
True.
And so he just kind of has like a weird
But
thing
there's
going
a serial killer, and he's like, whoa, Brooke. It's all in the process. You're like, there's a serial killer on
Well,
the
you can't
loose.
rush it. That's a valid question. You can't rush. It's an important case. You know, we got to stop this guy.
His
this
attitude.
is evidence,
But I think what you point out is great. Is that I'm looking at him suspiciously, like, you weirdo, and you're like, yeah, you have to be a weirdo,
coroner,
kind of.
yeah.
You're gonna hang out with dead people all day.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing with Brock, by the way, since we're talking about him and the coroner, but Brock specifically is seeing Rebecca's parents come to him.
Yeah.
And have that moment of, you know, we need her body. It's been a week.
It's been a week, and I'm gonna get a little personal here for a second. My father passed very suddenly, and this was a long time ago.
Okay.
God rest his soul. But there was no agreement in the family of what to do about it, and his wife wanted to do one thing, and the rest of us wanted to do something else. And he sat in the morgue for weeks.
Wow.
And there's something really devastating about that, because all you want is closure. Like, you know, this thing happened and you can't get closure. And then on top of it, you add the religious tradition, right? Of like, this is going against everything you've ever been taught, you've ever known.
Yep.
You already, you have lost.
Yeah, haven't we already lost her? Do you have to keep her from us? That was definitely there, and there's a amount of respect in Brock's face when they say, "Look, this is our tradition."
Yeah.
That what you're pointing out there.
But the only thing that makes me uncomfortable is that it's a little bit, I don't know, myopic, maybe self-absorbed, that they're like, we don't care about your investigation of serial kill, a guy that's killing girls.
Sure.
Like, there's that also sense of civic duty, but I don't think that they feel that way because they're really on the outskirts.
I mean, I'm gonna give them a pass as being their parents. And, like,
we can't lose any more young girls.
Yeah, that's true. That would be
They're
that
getting
would be some
filleted with their hearts removed.
Yeah, that would be something. But I'll give them. I mean, I have never dealt with the loss of a child, let alone one that's gone into a life of crime.
And loss twice.
Yes.
And we find out, we see later, a great performance with Proctor about calling him out. Yeah. Let's wrap up Hood. We've got Hood, Rebecca, Carrie, Job. Anything that we're leaving out with him?
That's a great question.
I mean, he gets taken away, right? We find out that this is why I'm really suspicious about the coroner. She's pregnant with his baby.
Well, that's what I think he was showing Brock on when he shows him the report, right? Because he says, "Oh, but this is I forget what the dialogue is, but he shows him that."
Yes.
And then he's got the blood in the back of her car.
And then I just think that Rebecca's such a jerk that she probably raped him. He probably hadn't.
I don't know.
I'm like, you had a bullet in him. I don't want to think that he did it.
That would seem a little melodrama. I don't see that happening. But
Rebecca, who Proctor has this flashback of Rebecca, and she's laughing in his face as he strangles her.
Yeah, well, there's that. Well, the other thing with Hood, I don't know. Maybe his baby's in there. I mean, obviously there's going to be some sort of test to find out that that's true or not. But I thought seeing him in cuffs there, obviously Bunker's like I'm going to put the cuffs on you now.
I love that. He's like, I'm so sorry.
He's always a very respectful character, but he's like, I've seen this guy in action, and I'm a tough dude, but I am not gonna walk up. I'm like, sir, like, is it okay?
I love
it.
But Tom plays that so well.
Yeah, he does. But it's interesting because I mean, who is Lucas Hood? Well, he's not Lucas Hood. He's somebody else, right?
Right. He's baby.
He's an identity theft. He's a master thief. He's a criminal. He's possibly a soldier. Fat Al calls him Soldier Boy. But he's all of these things, and like he's somebody who deserves to be in cuffs, and it's taken like 4 seasons.
Right.
And here he is in cuffs finally.
Well,
and
but it's
like,
also like bookends because he starts in prison, right, with the albino. Jeez.
Oh yeah.
And here he is, and I just went, oh my god, it's happening all over again.
Yeah, I know. When that's got to be what he's probably thinking too.
But I hope that it's redemptive. You know.
Yeah. Well,
It
I mean,
has to be.
obviously, from what we've seen so far, he didn't kill her.
No.
I mean, he certainly wouldn't have done that.
No.
But we did have some information that she was definitely alive.
Yeah.
When she was filleted.
And like drugged so that she could be
would
conscious.
stay awake. So
and-
it's somebody who's into torture, which that's got to tie in. But I don't know. It was that was.
Burton's into torture. But then we don't know about these other girls. That's the thing.
Yeah, we don't know.
We really don't know.
Anyway,
We
you
don't
were
know
going to
anything.
talk about Kai or something, right?
Yeah. So we don't spend as much time with Proctor either, right? But we see him be confronted by his parents or her parents.
By Rebecca's parents, yeah.
And really just take him to task that he's responsible.
Yeah, which I guess that would be his brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
her uncle, so yeah, it's his brother.
Or sister.
Or sister, yeah. Anyway, there's family relation there,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, he takes in that girl, right?
Cherry. / Jennifer.
Yeah, / Jennifer.
Thief.
/ thief. Which I thought for as soon as she's on screen, he's like going to take care of her. I'm like, oh, there's a
I
surrogate
just
Rebecca
realized,
there.
right? She was on something else. I recognize her face. She plays a similar character on another show. I don't know what it is, but
She looked very familiar.
She looked very familiar.
Couldn't tell you though. Jill something is her real name. I can't remember.
shout out. So we see her come into the Greasy Spoon. You know, I don't even know what Proctor's doing there.
Yeah.
Right.
A place where apparently he's not recognized.
He's not
as the mayor.
recognized.
It's a small town, so he must be out of town, I guess.
Well, that was kind of what I was thinking. I got this feeling that it was maybe on the outskirts of
It's got to
town.
be because
Everyone
it's a small
would know
town.
him,
Everybody knows who the mayor is.
right?
Yeah.
So he sees this girl and she's hungry, blah, blah, blah. He pays for it. He puts her up in the room. It's weird. It's really creepy. The whole, like, here's a closet full of clothes that you can wear at any given time.
Yeah, stay as long as you want. Maybe you'll replace Rebecca.
Oh my gosh. And then the strangulation, it really made me wonder, do we know that if Rebecca was strangled? I mean, we know that she was filleted, heart removed. She has like animal bites after.
Well, because they discarded her body in like, the forest, and animals probably
they were hungry.
did what animals do. But I don't think that she was strangled, or at least we don't have any evidence to that so far. But it's obviously all of the things that he's saying to her. I gave you everything. I gave you freedom. It was never enough. Which is...
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a life of crime, Kai, so it's not like you're giving her, feeding her a silver platter or something like this.
He put her into it. I mean, he set
He
her
did
up
put her
for
into it, but the parallel, I guess, is that he, like, here's some other girl who had nothing, who he shows a kindness to.
Who's also ungrateful.
Who is also ungrateful, but that's him taking Rebecca in, and then she basically stole from him, just like this girl is stealing from him.
Yep. And
I got a little greedy, like... taking the stuff off
the mantle. I was
off
like,
the
really?
mantle. I'm like, you got enough jewelry in the other room. Now you're just getting greedy and you're gonna get caught.
Yep, that's how I knew she was gonna get caught.
It's like a golden cat. Yeah, I'll take that.
Whoop.
It's hot on the black market.
But now we know. I feel like I know that Proctor now knows about what she was doing with the Bowdiggers.
Oh yeah,
because that. I mean, to sort of have that rage.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we do kind of have to wrap up. What are we missing? What loose ends do we have here? We talked about Bunker, Calvin, Maggie. I'm excited to see what's happening. Perhaps, do we have any news?
I don't think we have anything new as of last week. The only thing that we didn't talk about was Job getting to cap off his off Hightower.
Oh my gosh, right away.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of thought, wow, he's going to go through so much healing now because the second he gets let loose, he gets to have revenge. Not that that will solve or heal anything.
Yeah, in the real world.
But in Banshee, it just might.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was certainly satisfying after seeing I'm sure we only saw bits and pieces of this torture.
Right.
But it's been 4 months that he's been in this place, or...
In this specific...
Well, it's 4 months that he's been specifically tortured. He's been gone for 20 months.
Yeah.
And they're basically going to kill him until this like sort of ruse with Leo and give them the money and we're just kidding, we set you up. But it was just, I mean, like from a cathartic level, just nice to see that guy and be like, what are you gonna do, Joe? Boom. That's what I'm gonna do.
And I was like, his trigger finger still works after all
can
that.
Can we go now?
Shout out to Hoon Lee for amazing performance, but as usual, everyone, really did well.
Oh, yeah.
As they usually do.
Fantastic episode.
Shall we do some predictions?
We shall.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. Well, you've written down several
I've written down a
predictions.
lot,
Yeah.
and I normally don't do predictions, but I'm
do
really
them
into
every
it right
show,
now.
but yeah.
Okay, so I have a couple predictions. We did not mention that Deputy Cruz and Burton had a little stare down.
Loved
and
it.
I was like, that's going to be a fight. There's a fight coming. I know it, and I can't wait. So that's one prediction.
Yeah.
We also don't have Eliza Dushku yet, so we don't know, but
Well,
I
who
believe...
was that at the end of the episode? Was that her?
I don't think so.
At the car where the guy, the mystery man, comes running towards her? That wasn't her?
I don't think so.
I couldn't tell, but I thought it might have been her.
I don't know.
I don't know. I felt like we saw her face really quickly, and then I thought, but would she be helpless?
And we know that the attacker is a sprint runner who likes the ninja sprint runner that hangs out in parking lots.
Yeah. Well.
The other predictions I have are that Lucas is going to go back to prison or jail, whatever location this is, where
Precinct, at least.
Watts is.
Oh, okay.
And there's going to be a showdown in the prison.
Okay.
And I also think that the coroner is a person of interest. He just really creeped me out. And who better than to plant evidence or create or falsify reports than the creep that hangs out with dead people?
Yeah.
No offense.
I still don't know if I believe that, but it is somebody with a medical background. If they kept her alive with this sort of thing, and
well, think about anesthesiologist kind of stuff. Like, who would know all this?
I mean, somebody had to know, some sort of torturer person, but I just feel like there's not like.
There's only one sadist in town.
What motivation would that guy have to do that? I mean, sure, like.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean. It could be.
It's
like,
a red herring, I know.
It just feels like a little bit of a Scooby-Doo sort of thing.
Totally.
It was the coroner if it wouldn't have been for those kids or something like that.
I love that. Do you have any predictions?
I do. Geez, there was one that you just said that made me think of one, and I'll ask you what you said again so I can remind myself. But I like that there could be a Cruz Burton showdown. I absolutely see that.
Yeah.
And I want to see it.
Yeah.
I like him studying her as she walks in the room and like head turns and all these wonderful things, as if she's like some sort of like alien. Like, what is she doing here? Kai having to back him off. Like, no, it's okay.
I'm really excited about this potential fight because I am following Anna Arroyo on Instagram. You guys should too. And she posted a video of her training, and she's boxing like such a badass that I'm like, she could totally handle a serious fight scene.
Now, she could be training to fight Burton, or could be training to fight Carrie. When they go in to arrest Hood, Brock has to tell her twice to stand down. And there was a moment that I was like, ooh. But like you saw Cruz throwing down a little bit in the last episode when they go and bust up the porn ring there, but we've also seen Carrie fight. I gotta believe that Carrie would win that fight.
In the long run.
In the long run, we're definitely sort of gearing up. We had Calvin in jail there talking to Watts, telling him to basically just stay in your place, which he had to love that.
I'm sure.
But this to me is gearing up for like Proctor versus the Brotherhood sort of thing. Gosh, I wish I would have the other thing. What was one of your other predictions? You said
Corner person of interest, Carrie and Hood, maybe rekindling. Prison, a showdown in prison with the Aryan Nation or whoever they are.
Yeah. We'll just keep calling them the Brotherhood, I guess. Okay. But I guess it is the Aryan Nation. I would see him, Hood, just being, especially because they're arresting him, but he's going to be there probably just in the precinct jail for a while.
Right.
But we can't have a whole season with him in there.
No.
So, but if he did go to the prison, then
you never know. Fat Out is known for busting down walls, although the new
precinct.
It's not the caddy.
Yeah, I know. It's got a little more like
it's got bulletproof glass.
Probably good
never
foundation
know.
or something like that. But yeah, I think
we only have how many? Five episodes left.
It's so bittersweet.
It's really bittersweet.
I mean, I really enjoy that they said they made a conscious decision to end the show on a high note, not to drag it out. And with 8 episodes, that story's got to be tight.
Yep.
There is no filler in any of this, and it's wonderful to see. But as much as I'm enjoying it, I'm like, but I don't want it to end.
I know, me neither. Yeah. I have another prediction.
Yeah.
I think this episode is setting us up for a 4 and 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, 4 and 5 to be maybe like a a two-parter.
Yeah.
You know how they tend to do, and then 6 be a standalone, and then 7 and 8.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
That's a prediction. I don't know. We'll see how we tell the story. Anything else we want to mention before we wrap up?
No, I'm just going to say one more time that Rebecca's death is not linked to the serial killer. It's made to look that way. I said that last episode, but I still think that this is somebody who wants to tie it into those things.
So someone with maybe some inside information that would know exactly how everyone else was killed.
Somebody who's been studying this. I mean, obviously, maybe public information.
But the cops would not release that information, right? People don't release information of how exactly someone dies when it's a serial killer.
True, but maybe
they don't want copycats.
Maybe there's a news story or something.
Or it's from the inside.
Could be.
Woo, woo. Okay.
We'll just have to watch.
We're just going to have to wait and see. We hope to have a guest next time. HBO has been really fantastic in helping us out. So thank you to HBO Cinemax. And I guess we got to sign out. Where can the people find you, sir?
The people can find me and my illustriousness, apparently. Wow, why did I do that? You can follow me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson, Instagram, The Isaac Johnson, and also check out Cocktail Cinema. We rate movies from 1 to 5 cocktails. 1 cocktail if it's really good because you're sober, but you're having a good time. 5 cocktails if that movie sucked. And find out where we rated Batman, Superman. We saw that.
Awesome. I'm going to be a guest on that podcast. It sounds amazing. And I'm Oriana Leo. You can find me on Instagram at Oriana Leo. And Twitter is Miss Oriana Leo. If you'd also follow my new baby, which is Tilt by Oriana, you can find that on Instagram and Twitter. And check out the website, tiltbyoriana.com. Until next time.
We'll see you next time.
Ciao.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Banshees forever!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.